Is Naruto Storm Connections actually dead, or is the internet being a little overdramatic as usual? Well, the Steam numbers aren't looking great, but how are things looking over on PlayStation? There's only one way to find out, which is to queue up and play up. Play down, just play. Just play. So I logged in and played the game for 9 days straight, 3 times a day, playing 5 games each period. A total of 135 queues later, I can tell you how many matches I found, what my queue times were like, how many repeat players did I run into, and how laggy the matches were. I feed all that data into this formula and it spits out if the game is dead, alive, or anywhere in between. And make no mistake, this formula is trying to
kill this game.
It doesn't care if one of those 3 bars is full, it takes the emptiest bar and makes that the biggest weight. But to even fill out these bars, we must first play the matches. And it starts right...
Alright, Storm, show me what you got.
32 seconds. That's how long it took me to find my first match. I was shocked at how fast this was. Now, granted, the match wasn't great, it was a bit laggy, plus the game ended in an error that the game thought was me rage quitting. Great, but an impressive queue time nonetheless, and I guess this is a good time to tell you that for this video, I'm not just doing the experiment on PS5, my friend Dunk is also doing it on PC. Let's check in with him, see how he's doing.
Literally day 1 and I'm playing Slay the Spire on my ally because... Yeah,
Dunk started with a dead queue. Dead queue is what we call a queue that goes on for 5 minutes without finding anyone. According to a survey I did with you guys, with more than 500 answers, players are willing to wait up to 30 seconds to find a match and will call that a perfect queue. On the other hand, most players will give up after waiting for a match for 5 minutes. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but let's sit here watching this paint dry for 5 minutes. Oh my god, that was only 5 seconds. So these are the numbers that I'm using to score this game's queue times. But Dunk actually started finding games pretty quickly. In fact, by the end of day 1, queue times were around the 30-second mark on both PC and PlayStation. Because even though Dunk got a dead queue at the start, almost every other queue afterwards was under 10 seconds. And that sounds great, unlike Dunk, who sounds horrible.
I'm still sick, and it's made it much more jarring to play the game, I can't lie. I don't have the awareness right now to really pick up. Arsenal won today, so that's good. Let's see if we can get some good games in Naruto.
We're playing a new team today. Gotta rep my favorite character in Naruto for a bit. Let's have some fun today.
So sorry. Like, my first thought this morning was just to stay in bed and not do anything. But there's science to be done. But yeah, otherwise, I'm having a good time looking at the stats. I'm really enjoying getting stats down for this kind of stuff. And I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised by how this game does, not just on PS5, but also on PC. I think it's actually doing okay on PC.
And sure enough, if queue times were already great in day 1, day 2 only served to further prove that and solidify the stats even more, with queue times dropping from 32 seconds to 24 on PlayStation, fully filling up that bar. Dunk's ridiculous 6-second queue time median went the other way though, as he got another dead queue on day 2, but it's still in the perfect range. Now, here's a little caveat. Both me and Dunk are playing in the Chunin ranks, which are relatively low ranks. As you climb the ranks, the player pool will become smaller and so your queue times may be different. But if your rank is the same or lower than ours, then I think you'll find matches as fast as these, if not faster.
I continue to be hella impressed with the queue times. I think today we had our fastest time. It was, honestly, I think, the fastest possible time.
Not as fast as Dunk's queues though. That connecting message seems to be much faster on PC for some reason, but I can't really complain about how long matches are taking to be found. And Dunk was finally feeling better too, so it's all good news.
I am finally feeling like myself again. I haven't got the flu, my cough is gone. I'm really tired though, and I want to get some rest.
First weekday, welcome to Monday. This is proof that I shower. Sometimes. Today is Mifune Day, which is exciting for me because he was my Storm 4 main.
Feeling pretty good. I've got a lot of stuff to do today. Am I looking forward to playing Naruto? No, I've been getting my ass beat for a couple days now. I think it's time for me to play a broken team.
Yeah, I don't think that worked out for him. Then again, the team isn't that broken, but whatever keeps him motivated to keep the science going. Matchmaking times continue being impressive, but I think the system could still be a little better. For instance, there's no need to match me with someone from Japan after only 5 seconds. You can try to find someone better if it just takes a little longer. It's okay. But the most annoying part about this matchmaking system is when it tries to match you with the same person over and over again, despite one of the players saying no. Like, what does the matchmaking not understand about no? I can't prove that this is actually the same player denying the match over and over, but rejecting matches was so rare throughout the whole experiment that seeing this happen in the same queue on a person with the same region, same connection, same etiquette, bro, that's gotta be the same guy, and the queue just doesn't move on. Pick someone else! This obviously makes some queue times longer, but they are by far in the minority.
It's becoming very clear that this game is just gonna have a perfect queue time score. Queue times are consistently impressive. Like, I know I'm not gonna have to wait more than 30 seconds to find a match. That's usually the experience. Sometimes it does go over a minute, but usually less than 30 seconds.
And just as predicted, by the end of this experiment, the game got a perfect queue time score. The typical queue time landed at only 20 seconds, which is not the queue of a dead game at all. On the other hand, PC times kept increasing throughout the experiment, landing on 48 seconds by the end of the experiment. So it fell short of a perfect score, but still in that healthy place.
I have to make a change to this formula. Like, there's no way PC should land on the healthy place. Sorry, I lost my voice. Just being a dad or something. Dunk had a lot of dead queues. 23 dead queues in total out of 135 matches. That's about 17% dead queues. I've been thinking about it, and I think the solution is dead queues need to penalize the score more heavily. So to the final score, we're going to subtract the dead queue to match ratio, which is going to bring the PC score down to slipping. PS5 also lowers a little to almost nothing. I only got one dead queue the whole experiment. Back to full voice Globku.
That said, queue times alone don't make a game healthy, because if you're getting fast queues but always run into the same players, then the game still feels dead. So how's that opponent variety in Storm Connections? Well, this is where the PC and the PS5 stats started to drift apart.
I have just realized during this entire thing, I have to play Naruto, stay up and watch the entire Evo Japan, and then I have to play more Naruto. I may have made a mistake.
Now, there's only one way to track how many unique opponents we run into during the 135 matches that we're each playing, and that is to painfully write down every single player name that we play against. That way, we can see how many player names we have versus how many matches we have, and that gives us a percentage of unique players, aka the opponent's variety. And according to that same survey that 500 of you answered, you said that a perfectly healthy game would have about 90% opponent variety rating. So, 9 games out of 10, you play against someone unique. On the other hand, a dead game is one with only 30% opponent variety, so out of the 10 games, you only found 3 unique players.
Opponent variety started at a solid 92% at the end of day 1. It is the end of day 4, and we are down to 80. While the other stats can be somewhat random, this stat in particular has a tendency to go down as this experiment continues. It's very easy to understand why. The more opponents I run into, the more names I have on my list, the more likely it is that I'll run into someone I have before.
But we ran into a big problem on the PC with this stat. You see, on Steam, you can actually keep your name private, which means we don't know if we've seen this player before or not. And that kind of invalidates the whole system we've built. And I'll give you the results at the end, but I fear this is an obstacle that's just going to be impossible to overcome when measuring opponent variety on the PC.
Today is Sasuke Day. I don't know, I'm just kind of going through my favorite characters in the roster. I feel like I do run into a lot of Sasukes online, but this one not so much anymore, so I hope not too many people know my tricks.
Anime games in general, and Storm is no exception, are all missing something in matchmaking called rematch avoidance. If you play a match against a random opponent and then immediately queue up again for another match, chances are your opponent did the same thing, and so the game will just pair the two of you again. I feel like this would misrepresent the population of the game in the data. So in between matches, both me and Dunk are waiting for a couple of minutes before queuing up again. It's worked pretty well for me, but for Dunk, however, even though he's waiting those 2 minutes, he's had multiple periods where he just keeps finding the same person over and over again. Maybe even more than we know, thanks to the private name issue. I thought about not doing this for a while before this experiment started. After all, if a game is missing rematch avoidance, that's its own fault. It should reflect negatively on the stats, and players aren't just gonna artificially wait a couple of minutes before queuing up again. But I feel like by doing this, I'm giving you a better idea of what you can expect if you just log in and queue up to play a random match any day of the week. It's less about the full session and more about those random moments where you just want to queue up and play. But even with this method, opponent variety keeps dropping.
The tendency is still to go down, so we'll see what tomorrow brings. And I need a shave. Look at that handsome man. Day 6 is a Thursday, and the thing I love about Thursdays is that it's my cheat day.
Speaking of cheats, is this cheating? How the hell did he delay his team ultimate? Why did the Gar assist not hit him? What the hell just happened? By the end of this experiment, the opponent variety fell around to the 75% mark on PlayStation, with the PC being lower at almost 64%. But once again, because of the private names, this number is just not accurate. I bet it's actually much lower than this. Shoutouts to KC Chicken, the player I play the most against, a total of 6 sets throughout the 9 days. We went back and forth during the whole week, but I did finish with more wins. So I don't know why he's spinning like an idiot after winning a single round, but okay. As for Dunk, he just ran into the same player 5 times in a row in one period. Even though the name was censored, he could tell that it was the same person. Oh, you guys not enjoying the footage? The footage that he forgot to capture? Where the fuck is it, Dunk? Where is...
Q times are impeccable, a perfect score. But Q times alone do not make a game alive. Having 2 stats on your side can keep you in the healthy place. But with this drop... Day 7, it's Friday. We're playing Sasuke Taka with Suigetsu and Jugo, and I should have done this on a Tuesday, so then I could call it a Taka Tuesday. Now it's just a Taka Friday. I don't think I've ever messed up this bad.
So, we got our Q times, we got our opponent variety, there's only one stat left to look at, match quality. And this is where the health monitor is just going to fall. Each match is scored from 1 to 5 stars, where 1 is unplayable and 5 is perfect. Now, you may be thinking that I shouldn't be playing against all regions. I'm sure you've noticed by now that I'm playing against both Europe and North America, sometimes Asia or Japan. My filters are wide open, and yes, I am getting perfect queue times, but the cost in match quality is going to be too great. I would agree with that if matches against players in the same region as me didn't have such low scores. This was an EU player. I'm also EU, by the way, in case you didn't know. The match had a base delay, and then the dude was on Wi-Fi on top of that. So yeah, that's a 2-star match against a player from the same region. On the other hand, this was a cross-region match against someone from North America. All I had to deal with was a little delay, noticeable, but not enough to ruin the match, and I could still react to substitutions. I could still punish mistakes. The character didn't feel heavy, like it does in heavy delay matches, so it was a 4-star. And this happened constantly throughout the whole experiment. So I don't know if closing down my region filter would help with this game's score at all. It would hurt in queue times, it would hurt in opponent's variety, and I don't think the match quality would increase that much. But this was, as predicted, the worst metric on this game by far.
On day 1, the match quality actually surprised me. It was okay. Day 2, it drops catastrophically. Day 4, drops again. Day 6, another big drop. Today's day 7, so an odd number. Didn't really drop too much. It's kind of stayed where it was. But what the hell is going to happen tomorrow? I am playing Berserk Obito today, which is a character I always liked the concept of, but never could really make him work in gameplay. Forcing myself to play him all day, so maybe I'll figure it out, or maybe I'll give up forever.
Match quality is also the most subjective metric we have. To counteract this, I came up with a system so we can at least try to be consistent. If I feel a little delay, I take 1 star away. If the game stutters a couple of times, I take another star away. This would be a 3-star match. But if I feel a big delay, I take 2 stars immediately. A lot of the matches against North America were 3-star matches because of this. But then there's also massive Wi-Fi warriors where stutters happen throughout the whole match, and that takes, instead of 1 star, 2 stars away. If it's a combination of both, we're now at 1 star. Finally, if it's just unplayable, I take 4 stars away immediately and just score it to 1 star. An unplayable match is something like this, for instance. Can you play in these conditions? I can't, because the man's hotspotting the Artemis mission. On PC, Dunk also ran into a lot of these slow motion matches. I didn't see this a single time, so maybe it's a PC only thing, like people are trying to run this game in 4K on a toaster. But anyway, this is an example of a 1-star match for Dunk. Now, the matches don't need to be a perfect 5-star to get the maximum health score. According to the survey, you guys are cool with a 3.5 rating, which is insane. That's way too low. I rounded that up to a 4, so if we get 4 stars, that is a perfect score. On the other hand, at a 2.5, you said you'd consider a game dead. So the range from dead to healthy is actually pretty small. Any fluctuation can make the bar change drastically.
Match quality dropped a little bit, opponent variety dropped a little bit, but it definitely feels like it's very stable at this point. Like, it maybe climbs a little bit, maybe drops a little bit the next day, but I think we're arriving at the final values here. Tomorrow's the final day, and I have a surprise team for you guys.
The mic was off. For the final day, I decided to play the 3 characters that were the most played against me. And at the start of day 9, those were Sasuke Boruto, Minato Reanimated, and Kakashi Double Sharingan. During this final day, Sasuke actually dropped to Itachi, making this the final top 3 in the experiment, and then here you have the full top 10 as well. So if you're playing any of these characters thinking you're so unique, don't. They're literally the most played characters on PlayStation. On PC, it looks kind of different. Sasuke takes the lead here with Minato also up there in second place. Double Sharingan is nowhere to be seen. That assist is godlike. Wake up, PC players. Anyway, I lost all 5 games this morning. Maybe I'm not built for the meta. It got better later in the day, but that also brings me to my next point. I've been tracking my win-loss ratio. And while this is very unscientific, I did find that in general, I won more matches during the nighttime. Afternoons was when my performance was worse, which is also when match qualities were worse. Coincidence? I don't think so. But theoretically, if you want to try to rank up in Storm, play at night. It seems easier. Dunk also had more success during nighttime, but his worst period was actually mornings, bro. 30% win rate? Who the hell is this scrub?
I put on my best Sunday shirt for this because it's the final day and we're done. I got the results right here, so let's take a look at them. Naruto Storm Connections is slipping. I've known that it's not dead for a while. I mean, we all see these cues, right? But I also knew that it wasn't gonna land in the healthy place for quite a bit. I think since like day 4. This is actually really impressive for a game that hasn't gotten an update in a year and a half. Definitely the biggest culprit, the biggest thing dragging the score down is match quality, which landing close to a 3-star, it's actually pulling this game down quite a bit. But you know what? I think at launch, this game would not get a very different score. Because at launch, the netcode was the same.
But how about the PC? How did Dunk's experiment go? Well, if we put the stats together, the score is actually higher than the PlayStation 5 score. None of those 3 bars feel particularly strong, but also match quality isn't dragging it down as hard as the PS5 results were. That said, I don't think the PC results are very trustworthy because of the private player name issue. I think opponent variety in reality is much lower, and in fact, because it is so low, I think that's the reason why match quality is higher on PC. With a smaller player pool, you just don't run into as many bad matches, even if it feels that it's just as inconsistent as the games on PlayStation.
I guess if there's a conclusion that I can draw from what we've done this week, it's one, Naruto's consistently inconsistent. You can have one game that has amazing netcode, like you're pairing with the other person has amazing netcode, and you have a great time, and then the very next game, the quality is just absolutely garbage.
But here's the thing. Neither me nor Dunk expected these health results to be this high, and the truth is, when we look at these bars, they do reflect the experience we just had throughout this whole week.
I expected to log on and not find anyone on this game, and somehow, some way, every day I've had games. I didn't have as many dead queues as I thought I was gonna have. Naruto surprised me. I can actually say confidently I was surprised by how many people are still playing the game, and I learned that I'm very bad. This isn't even Naruto on its preferred platform, or even how people prefer to play it on PC, right? A lot of people apparently are on the mod, but yeah, people are still playing this game. So I guess my closing statement, if you really want to play a game, find a way. And don't listen to the noise outside, because it's probably not as dead as you think. Otherwise, I'm never doing this again.
Once again, this was a really fun experiment, especially since it was your data that kind of built this algorithm now. But I want to see it go the other way. I want to see a truly dead game, because this is definitely not it. So what's a game you truly think is dead? Don't say Sparking Zero, bro. You know I'm going to get the same results. Give me something juicy, all right? Leave it in the comments below. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye.